When you look at our planet from space at night, you aren't just looking at human civilization. You are looking at a machine. But have you ever stopped to wonder, what happens if this machine suddenly breaks down? What happens if the lights don't just go out for an hour, but for weeks? Every single light bulb, every smartphone charger, and every massive industrial robot on Earth is plugged into the exact same apparatus. It has no single brain, no master switch, and no central borders. Yet it stretches across continents. This is the global electrical grid, the largest physical machine ever constructed by mankind. But this machine hides a terrifying secret. Unlike any other commodity in human history, electricity, on a civilization-wide scale, cannot be efficiently stored. Think about that for a second. It must be consumed the exact millisecond it is generated. Right now, as you watch this video, a power plant hundreds of miles away is burning fuel to match the exact amount of energy your screen is pulling from the wall. The global grid exists in a state of eternal knife-edge balance, a balance that must be maintained every single second at all costs. But how long can we maintain a machine that was never designed for the modern world? In 2026, that balance is finally fracturing. To understand why the grid is in danger, we must first understand its heartbeat. How does an entire continent stay in perfect rhythm without a single central commander? The answer lies in a single number: frequency. Across most of the world, the grid operates at a synchronized frequency of exactly 50 Hertz. This means that every generator, from a massive nuclear reactor in France to a hydro dam in Switzerland, is spinning at the exact same speed, locked in perfect harmony. Think of the grid as a massive, multi-handled tandem bicycle ridden by millions of people. What happens if one person stops pedaling? The others must pedal harder to maintain the speed. But what happens if millions of people suddenly jump onto the bike at the exact same second? In electrical terms, when human consumption spikes, the generators physically slow down under the heavy load. If the frequency drops even slightly below its safe threshold, say from 50 Hertz to 48.5, the entire system undergoes a catastrophic heart attack. Transformers explode, safety switches trip, and entire nations plunge into darkness within seconds. Historically predictable engineering is now a volatile ballet. Today, unstoppable forces are tearing the world's greatest machine apart from opposite ends. The first is the insatiable hunger of artificial intelligence. When was the last time you thought about the physical cost of a single AI prompt? In 2026, AI data centers are no longer just server rooms. They are industrial power monsters. A single modern AI cluster consumes more electricity than medium-sized European cities. Tech giants facing a brutal reality. The existing grid cannot feed their algorithms. This has triggered a desperate corporate scramble, with companies buying out entire nuclear power plants just to secure a dedicated stream of electricity. Digital demand is constant, but while demand is becoming constant, our supply is becoming entirely chaotic. This is the green energy paradox. The world is rapidly transitioning to clean solar and wind power, yet these sources are fundamentally erratic. How do you run a society on whether the wind decides to blow? When a massive cloud bank passes over a major solar farm, gigawatts of power evaporate in seconds. We are feeding a hypersensitive 20th century machine with a volatile 21st century fuel source. How much longer can it bend before it snaps? Because the grid is the single most critical vulnerability of any nation, it raises a terrifying military prospect. Why march an army when you can conquer a country with a single line of code? Recent conflicts prove the grid is now the primary battlefield. Cyber warfare units have spent years mapping industrial software to cause physical destruction to transformers that take years to manufacture. In response, nations are rushing to build supergrids, massive, high-voltage undersea cables linking grids across continents, like Britain's 3,800-kilometer subsea link to Morocco. But look at the geopolitical map. If your country relies on a neighbor for electricity, are you truly independent? Interconnectedness is a double-edged sword. You share energy security, but also vulnerabilities. Whoever controls the interconnector controls the sovereignty of the nation at the other end. If shipping networks stop, trade slows. If internet cables are cut, communication is disrupted. But if the electrical grid fails, modern civilization resets to the Stone Age in less than 72 hours. Water pumps stop, financial systems vanish, food refrigeration fails. Are we building a digital future or walking a tightrope over an abyss? The entire illusion of our society is dependent on an unbroken, fragile network of wires humming at exactly 50 Hertz. We have spent a century building the world's most magnificent machine. Now, the only question left is, are we smart enough to keep it running?